Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. There's so much more to Florida IPDAE. Do you wonder what new resources were added to Florida IPDAE during the 2018-19 school year? Well, Bonnie and I are going to take you on a virtual tour today, and we're going to highlight all the new resources. Plus, you're going to be the first to know about upcoming workshops and resources that we're going to have for you in 2019-20. From new workshops to lesson plans to e-learning to matrices, there's so much to learn from Florida IPDAE. We're by educators and for educators. Bonnie and I are no strangers to all of you, so you have our pictures up there, and we will be your facilitators today. I know you know, but some tips to just remember. We want to hear your questions, so ask them through the Q&A option. Your microphones are muted, so we can't speak to you directly, but you can ask your questions again through that Q&A option on your screen. Remember that all of our webinars are recorded and they are archived on the IPDAE website, and the PowerPoint is already there loaded on the site. In today's session, we're going to review some projects that we've worked on for 18-19. We're going to show you where those resources are available on the IPDAE website, and we want to share with you some exciting news for 19-20. I just want to focus back on our purpose and why we do what we do. Our focus is on high priority goals that are established by the Florida Department of Education. We are highly focused on WIOA, Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, the College and Career Readiness Standards, and the Florida Integrated Career and Academic Preparation System. You're going to hear that now referred to as IET. So it means the same thing, but it's the Integrated Education and Training. And there's going to be some work that's going to be developed on that end. Our efforts are all structured around adult basic education, GED in high school, ESOL, and we are working very closely with our friends at the Department of Corrections and have some exciting news to share with you later on that. Some of the resources that we have that I just want to bring to your attention is the online event calendar. This calendar gives you a way to view events. You can now view them with a month-to-month glance, and we've done some enhancements on that. So when you get a chance, go and check that out. The one-click event registration, this allows you, as you know, real-time event scheduling at a glance. So it's just a really, really quick one-step registration. I know that all of you have found this to be very easy. The e-modules, as you know, are just free and easy accessible training modules. They're all self-paced. They automatically generate a certificate for you, and they're really good for recertification. If you haven't checked it out too, we have on our FAQ a button at the top of the homepage how to download your actual report if you need some clarity on that or you need to send it out to your staff. You know, we keep in touch with you through an electronic direct mailings, and we will continue to keep you posted on new things, the latest and greatest on what's happening. Some other resources that we have are, no, I already talked about this one. Let's go to the next slide. Bonnie, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Okay, thanks, June. You know, as we went through this past year, oftentimes people would say, I really wanted to go to that workshop, or how do I get that? Or what actually did you do? So we're going to be talking just very briefly about the workshops that we did, going from TABE 11-12 to math to grammar to writing, and of course the conference presentations that were delivered. As June said, the partnerships, Florida DOE, DOC, literacy, and of course REL, a little more on that later. And the fact that these matrices and activities that go along with them are alive and well. And we're real excited about where that's going to go and what you're going to see in 1920 that you're going to be able to just take right back to your classroom. And then, of course, 25 webinars, certification, recertification training for that new TABE that has given many of us a little bit of indigestion, and some new videos that got added. So let's kind of break those apart a little bit and see what's actually been done and where is it at? Because again, sometimes we want to go back and review things, or if we didn't get to see or participate, how in the world can we get that information? We did a number of face-to-face workshops all over the state of Florida, and this year we did a full day training with 4 mini sessions. And I know for me, that should have been a day and a half or a 2-day training because we really packed in a lot of information, starting with what's new with the TABE 1112 with a teacher focus rather than a testing focus. A math grab bag that came to us from the 2018 GED Testing Service Summer Institute with a few things with Florida IPDAE's flavor thrown in. And then one of the issues that we keep hearing that is, how do I transition skills from the ABE level to the GED prep? You know, how does writing need to flow or be scaffolded? And then something that we can't forget, especially with the new TABE 11 and 12 out there, and that is the aspect that grammar and text structure are very important. And if our students don't have a good understanding of that, they're not going to do well on the TABE 11-12. But in my humble opinion, even more importantly, they're not going to do well in the real world of work and personal life, because we all know that writing that doesn't have effective grammar and structure, someone who sends in a resume, etc., with that type of error structure is not going to do well. So those materials are now going to be available to all of you. The materials have, of course, been there for our trainers, for those folks who attended our workshops, but be aware that if you go out to Florida IPDAE sometime in July, you're going to see those same materials with an update on the 11 and 12, because again, that continues to be a work in progress. So when you go out in July to download those materials to use in your classroom, you will notice that you have the new individual score report. Workshops were very, very well attended, but there was another type of workshop, wasn't there, June?
Yes. Oh, Bonnie, we, as some of you know, because we came to your sites and we were able to participate with you, we have partnered with the Regional Educational Laboratory Southeast Group. This is a group out of Tallahassee who they are part of a big IES grant. So this was some really exciting work that we've been continually doing for the last 2 years. We developed some face-to-face workshops where we concentrated on implementing adult education literacy interventions. We did some videos, which I'm going to show you those in a little bit, where they're just specific reading strategies that you can take and you can use in your classroom. And something that I'm really excited about is this self-study process guide that was developed. This guide was so helpful as practitioners considered which type of evidence they should collect and which components of adult education instruction may be important for evaluation and implementation. It included a lot of guiding questions and a template for data collection. And this piece is actually going to be nationally produced for publication, but it's going through the process of IES now to get that stamp of approval. So thank you for all of you who did participate with us on that, and we're doing more in 2019. So here's a little, on the next slide, a little snapshot of the videos. These you can check out. They're on the front page of the of the website, you can get them. But look at some of these instructional strategies for reading. You have directed note-taking, a general overview of instructional strategy, in-depth conversation, intervention area. They're very short little 3-minute videos that can be really helpful as you continue with your professional development. Bonnie, did you want to add anything about these videos?
What I really liked about them is sometimes we don't want to listen to something very lengthy. So what I liked about these videos was I could take a quick look at them and go, wow, I can do that in the classroom. I can do it with any level of students. I can do it with any type of materials that I have. So there again, as June has always said, you know, we've got from the field, and so you've got another voice talking about what is effective classroom instruction. Great way to share the wealth.
Great.
But you know, I was going to say, June, there was even more. We also did a little more with corrections this past year.
Oh,
and
yes.
What a great group of instructors. And the face-to-face workshops were basically taking some of the workshops that we do in the field for everyone and highlighting some different types of materials, different types of reading materials which are of more interest to that clientele. And of course, taking things which are hands-on manipulatives that cannot be used there and introducing what's some other things that we can use. And starting to do some webinars that are totally correction focused. Now, we all know that good teaching is good teaching, but the environment can make a huge difference. So as we're looking at this upcoming year, we want to, again, differentiate even further what works with this population, and even more importantly, how can Florida IPDAE support the instructor in a correctional facility? So those were a lot of fun to do, and I think, June, we're even doing more of them this year. Am I correct?
Yes, we're going to go out to 6 regional training sites. So we're working with the DOC right now to identify what those spots are, and we'll get that on the website pretty soon, but look for that to happen in the fall.
And that's really exciting there again. The other thing that has been so exciting is many times we can't get out of our districts, out of our colleges to attend a face-to-face workshop. So IPDAE has pushed even further the fact that the webinars this past year have been very instructionally based, with strategies for the classroom, with workbook guides, with lots of activities, lessons that you can just take into the classroom. But you may not have attended all 25. So as you looked at what we did, starting out with the adult learner and who he or she is, such as the traditionalist to Generation Z, going into things such as Shift Happens, supporting the workshops that were out there, so looking at things like math through the lens of CCRS. And since we didn't do actual reading workshops, clicking into some reading areas such as text structure and figurative language, those types of things. And we don't want to, of course, forget the new TAE, number of workshops or webinars, I should say, on that, as well as clicking into the ESOL setting with a collaborative problem solving. What I'd strongly recommend is take a look at the IPDAE website at all the different webinars that were offered, and during a few quiet minutes that you have this summer, take a look and see how they can help you in the classroom. Because there again, there is just so much information from those webinars. So that was, in a nutshell, 2018-19. But IPDAE's really excited about what we're going to be doing in the fall and throughout the 1920 year. First of all, we've been really focusing a lot on pre-GED and GED levels of instruction. But as June was looking at some of the stats, where our students are having most difficulty in making progress or transitioning is in those ABE NRS levels 2 and 3. And then in ESOLs, we're looking at some of those intermediate levels. So the fall workshops are going to focus very much on just those levels, those developmental levels where oftentimes our students just seem to get stuck, and where IPDAE has not focused strongly in the last 2 years. We're also going to, of course, as June said, have more workshops, more great REL materials, and again, new webinar Wednesdays with even more information. The other area that's going to be focused on is updating the administrator's portal. I do believe it's been a while. And of course, conference presentations and lots more. So as we're looking at the correctional, the REL, the webinar Wednesdays, and the administrator's portal, the other thing that we want to really support is a positive push. There's a new phrase, or new since early 2000s, called positive psychology, and it really fits what each of us tries to do so hard, and that is build on the strengths that our students have and our educational communities have, so that we can assist our students and of course ourselves as educators to really not only meaningful lives, but to do what is best to help us find how we can improve everything we do. And IPDAE has always had this positive attitude of, yes, we can. And that's what we want to continue in all of the trainings, is everything that we do supports the students and of course supports the educator. But June, I think we're also going to look a little more at some of the online training, some of the things that we've done in the past, and of course some of the things we're going to do in the future. So tell us just a little more about the e-trainings that have been there, how we access them, and what's coming next year.
Yeah, these e-trainings are really just great bite-size professional development components that are so easy to use. Great for a person that is just coming new into adult education and really doesn't have the whole quick overview of what it is. They're self-paced, they're free, they're easy to navigate. They were developed by subject matter experts in the adult education field. It's great for recertification. You can view a tutorial on the IPDAE website that can take you through how it works, where to get it, how to download your certificate. Everything, remember, is posted in your portal. So you have all of this certification of participation and everything that you can download and use for your certification. The other thing also is that the assessments now with TAPE and CASAS, there is no more face-to-face trainings in the, that the Florida Department of Education is going out and doing. So all certification now comes through these modules. So be sure to look at the TABE 11 and 12 recertification module. If you're serving in a correction facility, that has to be done, I believe, every year, 2 years for those serving in adult education programs. There's a how to administer the test. This is the module you're going to be doing if you want to administer the test. And then how do you interpret those scores? What is the individual profile look like? How do you facilitate that conversation after they've taken that test? That is now up to. And remember, everything will change. Everything is changing and evolving with the interpretation of the profile report. So you have to keep posted to IPDAE. We'll let you know through our EDMs, but we'll keep you updated on the new changes of the latest and greatest that TAPE is doing.
June, you know, one of the things before we go on and talk about the next area is as we go through the summer, we all know that we have new teachers coming on board, new administrators, new tutors, etc. Please take a look at some of the materials that are already up on the IPDAE website. I can't think of anything better for a new teacher training than downloading a few of those webinars on the adult learner and andragogy. As they get into trying to figure out what does ABE, GED mean, again, some of those e-trainings are fantastic. And there again, if you're asked to do some type of a training in that welcome back, don't forget to look through the resources that are already there, because there are a whole lot of things that can assist you rather than recreating the wheel. But there again, I think sometimes we forget how good those resources can be as we're developing, you know, again, a back to school or new teacher training. But there's another, and we've been working with this year, and just such positive feedback. Many of you have attended some workshops that have dealt with that whole thing that we call the matrix suite. And so as we look at the matrix suite, I'm going to just give you a quick overview of what's been done, but even better, what's going to be coming your way and the usability of all of this in your classroom. We know that many of us teach areas that it's not our first certification field. I may have to teach math, and I'm actually a reading teacher. I may need to teach reading, and I'm a math teacher. And I look at all these standards and I say, what in the world does this really mean? And so the initial process was in order to get teachers not only a way to see how the matrices, or better known as the standards from the College Career Readiness Standards, go across or process. So when I look at math, I can actually see how each of those domains goes from the less stringent levels up to NRS 5.6, which is basically GED ASC. So as a teacher, I can look at that and go, okay. But also with math, we provided not only here's the standards, but the overlay. These are the skills that are covered by TABE, EMD, etc. And now a mathematical reasoning PLD matrix as well. So if I'm teaching GED math, I can see very easily, these are the skills for PLD 1, 2, 3, 4, and a crosswalk, how NRS levels 5, 6 cross over into GED, how they are equivalent skills, shall we say. This year, we've also developed the core matrix for reading, covering NRS levels 1 through 5, 6, along with the different TABE overlays, as well as language arts. Both are based upon a similar process as the math did, but we all know that there's a little difference in who wrote those standards, so they may look just slightly different. But the other thing that we've been very busy working on is for each of those little boxes on the matrix, there will be an activity that will be connected. So as a teacher, I may say, okay, first of all, I'm trying to figure out what that standard means. If I click on it, what I'm going to see is an actual activity that's aligned to that standard. It's aligned to the standardized assessment. As you can see here, this is a math one, and we have some similar question types. Everything for these activities, of course, is research-based. There's a lot of content development with visuals and graphics. Very hands-on approach with vocabulary emphasis, where all the vocabulary is bolded, with some reflective prompts sometimes as we're looking at what will happen, what do you think, that are simple and yet very versatile. You may wish to use them as a follow-up because you don't have enough materials in your workbooks or your online. You may want to use them and say, I need to change or I need to add a little bit, because all of these are free and reproducible. So as we look forward, right now we have a number of the activities done for math for NRS levels 1, 2, and 3. They're not linked yet on the web, but that will be something that's coming soon, coming in 1920. And as we look at these activities, what we've done is we've developed them so that all of similar look, where there's the big concept first. This one shows model multiplication and division within 100. There's always a practice activity. There's always an answer key. There are sometimes additional resources as needed. And of course, if we're using something from someone else, we always reference and credit it. So think of these wonderful worksheets that will be coming your way that you'll be able to use in your classroom free of charge. As I said, math will be the first to appear because most of the activities have been developed by some of the subject matter experts already, but this will continue throughout not only math, but reading and language arts as well. Now, this is a whole system. So we've seen the matrix. You've now seen a little bit of what these activities are going to look like, but there's another resource that's been developed, and that's an individualized instructional student plan. And that's really a neat resource for each of us also, as we want our students to understand what they need to do to transition from one level to the other, but also what they have done well. And these individualized instructional plans, they highlight for us via the tape, the test level, the emphasis level, the different percentages of each of those domains, the standards group, and it's all in a checklist format. This is going to be really useful as we work with students and we do some goal setting with them. And realize that at this point, no, this form is not on the IPDAE website yet either, but it is currently being pilot tested by different districts and colleges to see the usability and any changes that need to be made before there again we give it all the way out to the field for each and every one of your usage. Stay tuned for this because before, of course, we put it out there, we will indeed have either a webinar or workshop to talk about that. So from the matrix to the activities to the instructional student plan, June, what else can we do?
Oh gosh, I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, but I'm so excited about that work because all of the information that Bonnie just presented was built from the ground up from educators that are in the field practicing adult education. So this is completely homegrown. So I'm just so excited to see this go into implementation mode. But coming, we know that, you know, Bonnie has talked to you a lot about this, all this paper and stuff, but I want to let you know that IPDAE is in the process of developing and implementing a database to support this paper version of the matrices. So I'm going to tell you that we haven't finished it yet, but our launch date we're scheduled is for fall of 2019. It will be part of the workshops that we conduct, and you'll hear a lot of webinars and a lot of wraparound resources that will help you with this. It's going to have its own little spot, so you're going to be able to find it really quickly on the IPDAE website. So more on that to come. But what is this curriculum matrix all about? It's really an online lookup tool that dynamically returns information and resources that are correlated with the adult education frameworks. So why is it needed? Because it removes all the hassle of people trying to figure out what aligns with what should I be teaching, what should be occurring, how am I going to measure my outcomes. So it really provides the users with this simple selectable criteria option that makes it really easy. I'm really excited about this. I want to share with you some of how this will work. So how it's going to work electronically is going to be in the fashion of this. What will happen is you will select a matrix type. So there will be 7 matrices. They're all not finished yet, But for this example, let's say that you select ABE mathematics. The next thing that will happen is that you will then be opted to select a domain. Now keep in mind that the selection that you made automatically adjusts each time you display a new step. So you see how you again have selected that ABE mathematics, and now you're asked to select a domain. Now we know that there are these 10 domains in the mathematics. So let's say in this example, you're going to select the measurement and data. The next step will be you'll have to select the NRS level. So in this example here, again, you've selected ABE mathematics, you selected the domain of measurement and data, and now you've selected, oh, I'm teaching NRS level 1. What will happen in the next step of that is the search results will produce itself, and this is where you'll get your standard that you've selected, and that resource activity document that Bonnie spoke about earlier will be there for you to download or, you know, put into your own LMS, however you want to use this. Now, these documents are going to be fillable PDF files, so they're going to be really nice to use, and you won't have to keep putting all this information in there. So I am super excited about this piece and super excited about the fact that it now goes into an electronic format. It's a lot of work, but we really feel like it's a piece that will really help move the data for us. So, are you ready for all this? There's a lot of stuff that we're working on and a lot of new resources that will be coming your way. So I want to just leave you with a few thoughts. Our next webinars won't begin until August. So end of August, we're going to let you have time to restart your programs. But I want you to know that we are totally 100% supporting you around the clock. So anything that you need, if there's any kind of information that you're looking for a resource, you can't find it, we're here 24/7 to serve you. We have an email support help desk. We want you to join our email list. We know all of you have joined our email list, but if you have colleagues that haven't, please, you know, encourage them to join our email list so they can get all this information as we, you know, distill it. And you can follow us on Twitter. You can access our IPDAE YouTube channel. There's so much that can happen if you haven't already done this. Now, I guess we've been really busy talking, Bonnie, because let's see if we have any questions over there in the Q&A. I don't believe we do at this point, but if you have one, please go ahead and ask it in the Q&A option on your screen. And if we don't have any questions, that's fine too. We're here to always assist you.
You know, it's always amazing to me, June, when we look at, you know, what has occurred and where IPDAE is going, how much really has been accomplished through the IPDAE website and through the support of DOE, DOC, and all these other wonderful state agencies that have been so positive about supporting what's going on through Florida IPDAE. And even more importantly, from all the educators and administrators out there through the school districts and the colleges. It couldn't happen without each of you. So as we go forward, I'm going to second what June says. Yes, please, please, if you have questions, comments, etc., they are always there to assist.
You're so right.
June, I don't have any questions.
No questions there. The exponential growth that IPDAE has experienced is because of people like you. So we appreciate that. And with that, there is going to be now a quick survey that is going to appear on the screen. If you could just take like a minute to fill these questions out. You're very familiar with this. We would really appreciate. We always love your feedback. We always love to hear your voice. So go ahead and take a minute and answer these few questions, and then Bonnie and I will close this webinar out with some closing comments. Okay, we're going to close the screen now. Thank you so much for your feedback. Again, I just want to say on behalf of Bonnie, myself, the Florida Department of Education, the entire IPDAE staff, we thank you so much for joining us today and supporting us with this work. We wish you a really healthy and happy summer. And don't forget, we're just one click away. So we hope that we'll hear from you over the summer. And thank you again for all that you do.